Okay, so today we are going to take a look at operations with polynomials. Uh, but before we get into multiplying polynomials, we're going to first start with adding and subtracting them. Okay, so let's recall combining like terms. So, for example, you used to have problems that look like this, um, and what you did was you simplified this by combining like terms. So we see that we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 terms, but not all 5 of them are like terms because we see that some of them have x's and some of them do not have x's. So the ones that have x's are like terms with each other, and the ones that are just numbers are like terms with each other. Okay, so here the 7x, the positive 11x, and the negative 4x are like terms. So all 3 of these pink terms are like terms with each other. And then the 5 and the negative 9 are like terms with each other. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and combine the pink terms. So 7 plus 11 is 18, minus 4 is 14x. Okay, and then here, 5 minus 9 is negative 4. So the answer to this first example is just 14x minus 4. Let's take a look at this example. They all have x's. However, they're not quite the same because we have x to the second power, but this one is x to the first power. There is no 2 power, okay? Same thing with this one. There is no exponent of 2, but this one has an exponent of 2. So the ones that have x to a power of 2, this one and this one, uh, these are like terms with each other. And then these that just have plain old x will be like terms with each other. Okay? So the negative 6x squared and the negative 2x squared we can combine, and that will give us negative 8x squared. And then the 11x minus 9x will give us positive 2x, and this will be your final answer. Okay, so this is how we combine like terms before. So let's take a look at adding. Okay, so adding polynomials. Suppose that we have this example here. So this here inside the parentheses is a polynomial, and we're adding it with this other polynomial inside this parentheses. Okay, so step 1 is to remove the parentheses, and when we're adding polynomials, removing the parentheses uh, isn't really exciting. Nothing really happens. They just sort of disappear, right? 4x minus 15 plus 8x plus 2. Okay. Step 2, combine like terms. So here we can see that 4x and 8x are like terms. So we are going to combine those and get 12x. And then negative 15 is like terms with positive 2. Okay? And so negative 15 plus 2 is negative 13. Okay? So you'll notice here that I included the sign in front of the terms. Um, so when I combine them, this is a negative 15, combining it with plus 2. Okay? So if you're going to use your calculator, you would have to include the sign that is in front of the term. So on your calculator, you would enter negative 15 plus 2. Or here, 4x plus 8. Okay? And 12x minus 13 is the final answer. There is nothing left to do. Okay? So again, when you're adding polynomials, all you do is remove the parentheses and then combine like terms. Okay, let's take a look at another example. So here, Step 1, remove the parentheses. Okay? Again, nothing exciting happens here. When we subtract polynomials, when we remove the parentheses, there is something a little bit more exciting that happens. Okay, so over here we see that for the like terms, we have 9x squared. And then over here we have positive x squared. Now, if you don't see a number here in front of x or x squared, it's always understood to be 1. Okay? And don't forget to include the sign in front of the term. Okay, so if you enter this in your calculator, it would be 9 plus 1, and that is 10. Okay? And then here we have positive 11x, and that is like terms with negative 17x. Okay, so if you're going to enter this on your calculator, that would be 11 minus 17, okay, which is negative 6x. And that would be your final answer. Okay, let's go ahead and try these 3 problems. Hit the pause button, do these 3 problems, and check your answer with somebody sitting next to you. Or if you're working by yourself, you can just come back and see if you get the same answers that I have here. Okay, go ahead. Hit the pause button. Okay, for number 1, you should have gotten 12x minus 2. For number 2, you should have gotten negative 6x squared plus 17x. Number 3, it might look complicated, but it really isn't. So it doesn't matter if you're adding 2 polynomials or 3 polynomials or 100 polynomials. The rule is still the same. Remove the parentheses and combine like terms. So here, the like terms are 4x, negative 6x, negative 3x. So 4 minus 6 is negative 2. Negative 2 and negative 3 is negative 5x. Okay? And then 9 minus 8 plus 4 is 5. Okay? So you should have gotten these 3 answers. All right, let's take a look at subtracting polynomials. Okay, let's take a look at this first example. Okay? Step 1, remove parentheses. Except now there's this extra step that you're going to do. You're going to change the signs of the polynomial that comes after the subtraction sign. So here's your subtraction sign, and here's the polynomial that comes after the subtraction sign. So the signs of these terms will change. Okay? All right, the first polynomial, this one will remain the same. But then here, the positive 8 becomes negative 8. The positive 2 becomes negative 2. And that's because you're essentially distributing the subtraction, or the negative 1. So this becomes negative 8. This becomes negative 2. Okay? So remember to change the signs of the polynomial that comes after the subtraction sign. Once you do that, you combine like terms. So 4x and negative 8x. Again, remember to include the sign in front of the term. So this is 4 minus 8, and that gives us negative 4x. Negative 15 and negative 2 are also like terms with each other. So we're going to go ahead and combine negative 15 and negative 2. And that gives us negative 17. So the final answer is negative 4x minus 17. Okay, let's take a look at another example. Again, step 1, remove the parentheses. And when you do that, the signs of the polynomial that comes after the subtraction will change. Okay, so this positive x squared will become negative x squared. This negative 17 will become positive 17. Okay, and this one will always remain the same. 9x squared plus 11x. This becomes negative. This becomes positive. Okay? Step 2, combine like terms. So we see here 9x squared, positive 9. And this here is negative x squared. Again, if you don't see a number in front of x or x squared, it's understood to be a 1. Okay, so 9 minus 1 is 8x squared. And then positive 11 and positive 17 will give us positive 28x. Okay, so the final answer is 8x squared plus 28x. Okay, go ahead and try these three. Hit the pause button and come back to see if you got the same answers. Okay, for number 1, you should have gotten 2x minus 4. For number 2, you should have gotten negative 4x squared plus 7x. And number 3, again, it might look complicated, but the rule still applies. Any polynomial after a subtraction sign will change their signs. Here's a polynomial after a subtraction sign, so the negative 3 will change to positive. The positive 4 will change to a negative. The negative 8 will change. The negative 6 will change. But this one will stay the same. Okay, so 4x plus 9 stays. Here we have subtraction, so the signs will change. So it will be positive 6x and positive 8. And here's another subtraction, so the signs will change. This will become positive 3, and this becomes negative 4. And then we can go ahead and combine like terms. 4x plus 6x is 10x, plus 3x is 13x. And 9 plus 8 is 17, minus 4 is 13. Okay, so that's it. That's all there is to adding and subtracting polynomials. If you have any questions, you can ask me in class tomorrow.